Buyers think they're so funny sometimes. They think that your prices are funny. They think that your counter offers are funny. And there are plenty of buyers out there that like to use messages that they send you in which they include sentiments of laughter towards you as a form of intimidation and bullying to try to get you to significantly reduce the price of your item to sell it to them at much lower than what the actual realistic market rate is for the item. And this is something that new resellers are particularly vulnerable to because they are just getting started. They're trying to build up their feedback. They're trying to make some initial sales to get their reputation built up in the community. And so they might not have a lot of experience comping items. And by comping, I mean checking the comparables to see what it has sold for recently and what the current competition is for it on the marketplace. And so without having that knowledge and that skill set and without having the proper confidence level built up yet, they could be particularly, like I said, vulnerable to this form of intimidation. And so that's what I want to emphasize in this video with an example, the importance of making sure you are gathering research and gathering data to protect yourself against these types of instances. And the example I'm going to give you relates to this item that you see here. Many of you know that I do buy Funko Pop collections and I sell Funkos. Despite people telling me that they don't sell, I keep showing examples of how they do sell. And I've mentioned this before, but just in general, Funkos are like many other collectible items. There are ones that are overproduced and aren't worth much, and then there are ones that do have a nice a resale value to them. And I pick my Funkos up generally for $2 or less. This one I have about $2 invested into. And you can see I have a list price here of $47.50. And I'll show you how I came to that in just a moment. And we'll get into the message that the buyer sent me on this and what happened with it in the end in just a few moments. But I'm going to give you a little extra for watching this video, throw a little be on the lookout information in here for you as well. Because while this is a Funko, the thing I want to also get across here in terms of the be on the lookout aspect is, you see this term here, Resident Evil. If you're not familiar with video games or you haven't watched the movies that were based on the video games, Resident Evil is definitely a popular series to get collectibles pertaining to. If you ever come across them when you're at garage sales, estate sales, flea markets, definitely look them up. This one here is the character Leon S. Kennedy. Some of you may or may not be familiar with it. I recently had sold a Funko Pop here, also for the Resident Evil series, Nemesis. Sold this one, took a best offer. You see I had it listed for $60 and sold it for $50, which again is a pretty nice return on investment when you only have $2 into it. It generally costs right around $4 to $5 to ship it. And then, of course, you've got your PayPal fee. So still, taking all that into account, very nice return on investment on a $2 purchase. The series is based off of a video game that was made by Capcom. And then they produced a bunch of sequels to it. And then they made a bunch of movies. And there are a total of 6, so 1 and then 5 sequels. And then in 2017, it was announced that they're going to actually reboot the film series. So now, being 2020, there's a growing interest in terms of the reboots coming out, and there's a lot of people who are going back out and getting some of these collectibles. The market for it has really never died for Resident Evil collectibles, but it's amping up a bit more. So it's something, especially when garage sale season starts to kick up again in the spring, definitely make sure you look for Resident Evil items. Now, with regards to this particular one here, I'm going to show you some recent comps for it. And for those of you who are not familiar, just very basic intro to comp checking, you're just going to type your item in after you hit that advanced tab that you just saw me hit on the top right. And I suggest making sure you click on the completed listings, not click on the sold listings, because completed is going to tell you what sold and what didn't sell. And that's really important, and I'll show you a good example of why that's important right here, actually. It'll give you a great idea in terms of the sell-through rate for the item. Now, I really am only interested in ones that are directly comparable to mine. So you see here we have some that are combined with other Funkos, and so I really want to just focus on ones that are new in the box, that are just like mine. So we're gonna have to scroll down a bit, but what you can see is all these ones in green colored font for the price means that they sold. If it didn't sell, it would show up black. This is on the desktop. It's a little different with the app, but you could check it there as well. But as we scroll down, you can see here we have some direct comparables: $60 plus $5.35 shipping, $50 plus $10.99 shipping, $48 and $11.75 shipping, $57.99 best offer accepted, free shipping, $45 best offer accepted, $11.75 shipping, $49.99 plus $6 shipping, and I could go on and on. $51 plus $5 shipping. And one of the things you're noticing here is we don't have any examples of things that are not selling. They're all selling. Everything that is getting listed is selling. Now this is the past 60 days, so this is all relative to what was available on the market at the time. So if we look right now, actually, what you'll see is there's only two on the market, and they're not even any available right now as a buy it now. They're only available for auction. Now, one was posted just a few hours ago with a starting bid price of $25 plus $5.35 shipping. And there's another one that's been up for a couple days. This one already has 11 bids, even with a bad picture, and it's $37 right now plus $6.75 shipping. Now, at the time that I listed mine, there was one other one that I was competing with that was up for $52.50 with free shipping, and that one the person had similar feedback as mine, 100% positive feedback, good reputation in the community, and their item didn't have any flaws with it at all. Now, mine has a few flaws, not anything major in terms of damage, but it has some things. Now, on the front, which is the most important part, there's really nothing of significance. It looks really nice, and this is really the main part that you really want to look well. If you start having creases in the box or rips or tears, especially if it's in the window, that plastic there, that starts to become a problem. But the areas where I had issues were on the bottom area. Well, actually, this is the top area of the box and the bottom. So the parts you're least likely to actually see. You could see there's a small circular stain there. And then of more significance, on the bottom, you're going to see that there's another stain plus some creasing. Now, some collectors won't really mind that, again, if they're just going to put this up in a display, and usually these are stacked when they're displayed, so you're not going to see the top and you're not going to see the bottom, and you're just going to see this front facing area. So for plenty of collectors, this will be sufficient, but for someone really hardcore, that will take the value down a bit. So I priced mine at $49.99 to be under the $52.50. Now, some could argue price it for $60 because there's comps showing that it is sold for as high as $60 and even a little bit more. And you could certainly do that if you want to. My reasoning behind it is that I also try to be fair with the buyers. And if there is one that is in better condition than mine, as long as it's realistic, consistent with the comps. And if I kept scrolling down and down, you'll see there are plenty that did sell for right around $50, and so and even a little bit under that. So $49.99 was fine for me, especially considering that I had just had one priced at $59.99. This one here took a best offer and wound up selling it for $50. And again, I'm fine with that with a $2 investment. That's why and this is also important for new resellers, it's really, really important to make sure you're sourcing items low, because that gives you this type of flexibility to move a little bit under somebody to have a competitive price. But also I want to emphasize, I do not advocate giving your items away. There's still plenty of area here for nice, healthy profit, still consistent with recent comps. So I had it for $49.99, and I loaded after a week. I developed some watchers on the item. I think there were around 3 or 4, and I lowered it just a bit to $47.50. And so I then got this offer that came in, as you could see here, for $20. Now, this is what I have defined in prior videos on negotiations and lowballs. And if you haven't seen my negotiation series, check that out. It's in my playlist section. I go through a whole series of things on how to use psychology to implement that into your business to negotiate with buyers. And I talk a lot about dealing with lowballs, and in this situation, what I call an extreme lowball. And as I define an extreme lowball, it is somebody who is sending you an offer that is more than half lower than what the realistic market value is for this item. So even if we double the 20, that only gets us to 40. So this is less than a half of, again, what a realistic market value is for it. So in this situation, I just automatically decline the item. Now, some people ask me, why don't I set it on auto decline? Well, first of all, I don't want to take the extra time to set it on auto decline, but 2, I like to actually see what kind of offers people are sending over to me. So this way, when I get those higher offers that come in later on, I feel even better about having made that sale. So, and as you'll see in this situation here, so this offer comes in for $20. I automatically decline it. And now, by the way, I should say there are some people, and there is a school of thought amongst many people who I have a great deal of respect for, that advocate counter-offering almost everything, and sometimes actually everything. I'm not in that school of thought because I basically take the position that this person knows what they're doing, and this is really just a sign of disrespect. It's really a sign of disrespect towards the item, and that's not really putting, some people say don't get emotional about it. It's really not about emotion per se. It's really just about the economics of it, and it's just not a respectful offer. It's like, let's say you had your house up on the market for $470,500, and someone came in and offered you $200,000 for it. The real estate agent would tell you, don't even make that offer, because you're just going to, insult you're just going to insult the person who's selling it. Plus, they're going to tell you it's not anywhere consistent with what the comparables are. And they talk about that a lot in the housing market. So, I always argue this is how it is in all other areas of commerce in terms of making offers. It should be the same with dealing with eBay offers. And so if somebody wants to work out a deal, I'm more than happy to work out a deal with you. Send me an initial realistic offer, and then we could work on things. So that's my position on that. And you'll see right here justification for me just declining this offer, because what happened next is this person then further shows how non-serious they are about this and sends me an offer for $19. So now they've sent me an offer that is lower than the original offer that I sent. And I by the way, I cut out the person's username, but I left the last 2 letters in, plus the number next to it, the feedback number, just to show you that this is the same person that we're dealing with. So when somebody does this and they send then back a lower offer, now it's 100% this person is not serious, and now that for me becomes, you're automatically blocked. So I've talked about this before in terms of blocking certain buyers. And not only will I block them, but I will send them a message letting them know politely that they have been blocked and why they have been blocked. So they have been blocked because of sending multiple non-serious offers. And one of the reasons that I do that is I don't want to reward this type of behavior. And I actually look at this as, because this person's gone now for me. I put them on the block list. I hope that this actually protects other sellers, that this person will now think twice before doing this again with somebody else. Now, they may or may not. Some people are going to say, well, you wasted time doing this. This took about 2 seconds to do. It does not factor in any significant way time on my part doing this. So anyway, sent this, and then I get the following message from this person, which is one of the dumb things about eBay, is that you can block somebody and they are still allowed to send you messages on the same thread. So they can't send you messages about anything else, and they can't make offers about anything else, but about this specific thing they could still send you messages. So a person writes, and I'm gonna put this a little bit bigger so you could see it, LMAO. So y'all know what that means, laughing my ass off. No one is going to pay that much for a Leon Funko, let alone one that has damage to the box. Enjoy all that dust you're gonna collect. So, you know, this is what I mean. This is the type of person. So if you had any doubt about me declining or about blocking the person, this just validates that this is the type of person that you're dealing with, who's going to send you these kind of offers. Anyone who is, you know, a legitimate collector is not going to send you an offer like that. And I don't mind blocking a person like that, because I don't want to deal with that type of customer. There's millions and millions and millions of people who are on eBay. Having a small percentage of buyers on your block list is not going to matter in any significant degree, especially if you have items that you're selling that are in demand, that people want, as I have shown you is the case for this particular item. So this stuff is just false. I mean, no one's going to pay that much for a Leon Funko. Oh, really? No one's going to pay that much for a Leon Funko? Well, look at all these people who paid that much for a Leon Funko. And, you know, not every Leon Funko that sold was a perfect condition Funko. I mean, there's some that had little creases, had little dents, you know, all that type of stuff. And, you know, the damage, as I showed you, is really relatively mild. It's not huge. So making this, you know, like one that like it has a lot of damage, it's not. And then this is the real, you know, part right here that it really combines with the first sentence, where they try to intimidate you, where they basically make you try to feel like you're not going to sell your item. And so, you know, some people who do this are people who actually have some experience selling and know some of the anxieties that it could cause some people who are selling, especially if they need to move items. And so, you know, they're trying to get the person concerned. Oh no, this person just walked away. Now I'm not gonna be able to sell it. And so they're hoping you're going to reach back out and say, you know what? On second thought, you want it for 20? Sure, I'll give it to you for 20, or I'll give it to you for 25. And now all of a sudden, you sold the item. Well, I will refuse to do that, and I knew it was just a matter of time. And within a few days, this item then sold. So this is a sold price right here, $47.50, sold for exactly what I had it for, and exactly what this person said I would never sell it for, and I was going to collect dust. So you know, that's really the main lesson that I hope that you get out of this. And you know I've talked about before, but I just want to bring it home with a concrete recent example. Is data will help you. Data will set you free. Believe in your data, what it is telling you, because it is going to follow along that path. As long as what you have is consistent with what others have, if it's priced fairly on the market, it is going to sell. You may just have to wait, you know, a few days, but don't let some buyer come in and try to bully you with laughter. Stick with that data, and at the very end, you will be the one who has the last laugh.